So, Scavengers is finally out. Open access for everybody. You downloaded the game, and after maybe fiddling around with some keybinds, you skip the tutorial. Because, you know, who needs those? Nobody needs those. It's a battle royale. You're freaking semi-pro on Apex. Went diamond last ranked season. You can't stop 360 no-scope YY ladder stalling kids on Warzone. What's the worst that could happen? What's going on, everybody? My name is EQ and welcome back to the channel. I really appreciate all of you being here again. And today we're gonna try to make sense out of what Scavengers is. I know that a lot of you who are brand new to the game are completely confused as to what the point of the game is, what the end goal is, how to win a match, what constitute winning. And let me tell you right now, it is not just straight up PvP. This is not your average battle royale. There are way too many intricacies to this game. My goal for this video is to give you a starting point, some sort of guideline, so that way you know what it is that you need to do to be successful in Scavengers. So let's start off with the most basic question we can possibly ask here. What is the objective to the game? The objective of the game is to collect as many data points as possible throughout the match, survive until the drop pod comes in at the end of the match, and it will safely extract you and any other remaining teams. Now, although multiple teams can extract at the end of the match, this does not mean that there is no competitiveness to this game. Only one team will be crowned the top data point leader and gain the most experience, as well, of course, as the bragging rights, and hopefully have a chance at being at the leaderboards. But EQ, I just want to W key warrior my way into entire teams and get that winner chicken dinner, because I be cranking 90s all day on Fortnite, and I'm just that good. Why can't I just do that? First of all, stop. Second of all, you can do that technically. There are many different ways in which you can get the most data points, and we're going to cover those here in a second. But I just want to run you through the basic steps of how the gameplay loop runs and give you what I'm going to call EQ's patented 5 steps to success in Scavengers. Let's get ready with step number 1. Step number 1, scavenge. Now, as the game's name implies, you will be dropping into the harsh environment with literally nothing on you. Things that you'll be looking for are weapons like ARs, SMGs, bows, LMG, snipers and melee weapons, grenades and other throwables, you name it. Healing items such as bandages, medkits, biofoams, and thermal boosts, which are a very important item that we will be covering later on. Stamina consumables such as meat, canned food, foraging for berries, etc. to keep your stamina up. And then lastly, scrap. Sweet scrap. Now, why is scrap so important? Well, scrap will allow you to craft all of the items in your character's loadout, upgrading your shields, fixes vehicles so that way you can travel a lot faster, among a few other things that we will cover. Now, you gain scrap by killing enemy AI, opening chests throughout the map. There will also be outlander camps throughout the maps that may have large chests containing large amounts of scrap, medical supplies, or food. Now, it is very important that you know that you can only hold up to 1,000 scrap. After that, any scrap that you run by will just stay on the ground. So make sure that you spend it wisely, but do spend it. Don't keep holding it. Be mindful of your teammates so that way you can drop some for them. You are able to drop the scrap so that way you can help them get their weapons and upgrade their shields, and that way the entire team is completely prepared for their next fight. Now, this one's simple. Killing enemy AI and also enemy teams will award you in-match experience, which will increase your match level. Your loadout and armor upgrades are directly tied to your match level, so it is extremely important that you quickly level up in order to unlock crafting of your signature weapon, consumables, and level up your shields. Now, we've been mentioning it quite a bit throughout this video, but now it's actually time to talk about it. Crafting. Simply visit the Explorers tab in the main lobby first. Here's where you'll see the standard loadout that you will be dropping into a match with your specific explorer that you have chosen. Now, the loadout consists of your signature weapon, a wildcard weapon, a throwable, and 2 consumable item slots. All of these items can be crafted in a match from your crafting menu at the cost of scrap. And again, what you have available for crafting is dependent on your match level. Now, consumables are available for you to start crafting right away as soon as you have enough scrap for them. But your shield upgrades and your signature weapons and your wildcard weapons, etc., will become available from level 2 onward. You're going to be able to continue to add a variety of items to your loadout, which will come later on as you progress throughout the game via the research system. Now, that's not something that we're going to be covering on today's video. That's a whole subject all on its own. Just to kind of give you an idea, you're going to be able to add stronger weapon variants of your signature weapon, a large variety of wildcard weapons, and a couple different items for your throwables and consumables, such as the thermal boost and the biofoam. Now, as a quick side note, what I mean by upgrading your shields is that the shields will have different tiers of protection that you can craft up to. So, for example, you will start off with a white common shield. You can upgrade your white shield into a green uncommon shield via crafting once you hit level 2 in your match level. Level 3 will unlock the blue rare shield upgrade, and level 4 will unlock the final tier of shields, which is colored purple. And now we get to what's probably the most important step out of all of them. Collect data points. Data points is what's going to win you the match. Data points is what's going to put you in first place and then keep you there. Now, it is up to you to collect as many data points as possible. How do we do this? The first way is by killing enemy AI. Killing enemies will actually award you a couple of data points per kill. It is not the most efficient way of gathering these points, but in the match where it's close and all you need is a couple points to get that first place win, then this will become very important. The second way is probably the most obvious one. If you open up your map, you will see that there are a ton of orange markers throughout the map. These orange or gold markers will actually have a number assigned to them. This means that you can go to these outposts, camps, scorched meteor crash sites where you will actually find large yellow crystals that your keeper, which is your little tiny robot that flies around with you, will start mining and collecting data points from. Now, keep in mind that these areas are heavily populated with enemy AI. And let me tell you from experience, these AI are no joke. They will end your entire run by themselves. You don't have to find any enemy players in order to have your run ended by either bears, wolves, outlanders, scourge, you name it. It's all out there to get you. Once you clear the area of enemy AI, you can start mining the giant gold crystal that you will find deep inside these areas. Now, do keep in mind that it does take some time for your keeper to actually get this done. In the meantime, more enemies will actually start attacking you. Keep in mind that enemies can stop the process by destroying your little keeper. And since you're stationary until your keeper is done, other teams can actually come in and try to attack you and steal those points from you. So keep that in mind. Another big way that you can actually gather data points is by tackling world events such as crash sites for satellites, or taking on world bosses such as Gorthok, who is a giant hammer-wielding outlander, or the Scourged boss, the Sluka. Both of these bosses and the world event are worth a lot of points. Now, do keep in mind that because they are worth so much, they're going to take a lot longer to finish and to extract the points, or to kill them in order to get the points. So because of this, it's a high-risk, high-reward situation, because the longer that you stay in one area trying to get these points, the more of a chance there is for another team to come in and try to third party you while you're tackling these objectives. Now, the fourth and final way that you can gain points, probably the one that I least recommend until you're well geared, is by tackling on enemy players. By fully eliminating all 3 of their players, you will gain all of the data points that they had all collected. Whenever you down and eliminate a player, but you do not fully eliminate their team, they will only drop half of the data points that they had collected. So in order to make sure that engaging an entire team 4 points is worthwhile, you have to make sure that you fully eliminate every single member in that team. Keep in mind that if one survives, all of them will respawn again eventually, and then that's another threat that you will have to contend with later. You will notice that now from steps number 1 through 4, all these steps can be done in any order, or better yet, you multitask and do them all at the same time. For example, on your way to your next orange outpost or objective, you can check your map for nearby scrap or medical supply camps. You can do those first before you move on, and therefore killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Leveling up is going to come naturally from just killing all of the enemies that you're going to encounter in these camps or in the outposts or even the scourge and the meteor sites, etc., etc. The more you kill them, the more you level up. They're going to drop data points for you, and you're doing your data point objectives as well while you're there. So all of these objectives go hand in hand, and it is better that you multitask in order to get them done as quickly as possible. Now, once you've fully leveled up to grab all of your gear, you've upgraded all your shields, you got your signature weapon, you have enough heals. Now it's time for step number 5, survive and escape. Be very strategic of how you move throughout the map. Never stay in one place for too long. Finish your objective, and from there move on to the next one. Remember that crouching and hiding inside buildings will keep you undetected from other enemy teams and their radars. Even though it's not recommended, you could even use the storms that come by to actually hide inside the storms and move undetected by your enemies. Whenever an enemy team is finishing a yellow marked objective on the map, you can actually see the data point count go down as they are collecting these data points. Use this information to move around the map, ambush them, and steal their points. Once you see that towards the end of the match, the escape pod is landing, start making your way to it, but do not rush initially unless you are very confident in your PvP skills, since literally everybody is going to be converging over there. Remember that the extraction strategy is all up to you. Now you can go try to be the very first team there, open up a door to the escape pod, and then try to gatekeep the enemy teams from coming in. Or you can even wait until the countdown for extraction is almost done and then make a blast ditch run to the drop pod before it escapes, therefore avoiding all sorts of PvP and safely escaping with all your points. So in summary, step number 1, scavenge for supplies, weapons, and scrap. Step number 2, level up. Start killing everything that you see along the way. Make sure that you keep on moving throughout the map. Do not stay stationary in one place. But while you are at an objective, make sure that you clear all the enemy AI, so that way you can gain enough levels. And once you have enough scrap, you can start crafting right away. Step number 3, we just mentioned it. Craft away. Once you have the scrap and the levels, make sure you start making your shields primarily, then move on to your weapons. And as you progress through the map, start making any of your consumables to keep you warm, such as the thermal boost, or for healing, such as the biofoam. Step number 4, while you're doing all these other steps, make sure you're collecting as many data points as possible. Lastly, step number 5, use everything that you've gained throughout the match to help you survive and escape. Make sure that you are crafty, make sure you are moving, make sure you are strategic, and that way you will ensure your survival and your safe extraction at the end of the game. If you need to see some of these steps put into action, remember that I always stream every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday from 8:30 p.m. Eastern onwards over on my Twitch channel, but I will also be posting some gameplay here on the YouTube channel, so that way you guys have a bit of a visual of how to tackle these objectives and safely escape out of the planet. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, I appreciate you all being here. EQ signing out. I will catch you guys on the Outlands.